Before most parents realize it, strictness slowly turns into distance. It does not happen in one big moment. It happens in small daily corrections, raised eyebrows, sharp tones, high expectations, and the constant feeling that something is never quite good enough. Many mothers and fathers believe they are building discipline, resilience, and success. They believe they are protecting their child from failure and from a harsh world. But child development researchers consistently explain that when discipline outweighs emotional safety, something powerful begins to shrink inside a child. Confidence becomes caution, honesty becomes fear, love becomes performance. And the most painful part is this: strict parents usually have the best intentions. They care deeply, they worry constantly, they want their child to succeed, yet without noticing, they may be creating the very insecurity they hope to prevent. Developmental psychologists explain that children do not experience parenting the way adults intend it. They experience it emotionally. A parent may think, "I am teaching responsibility." A child may feel, "I am never good enough." A parent may believe, "I am correcting behavior." A child may internalize, "I disappoint the people I love." Over time, repeated emotional signals shape a child's inner voice. That inner voice will guide them long after childhood ends. If that voice sounds harsh, critical, or fearful, the roots often trace back to overly rigid environments. One of the clearest signs of being too strict is when a child becomes afraid to make small mistakes. Experts in child psychology note that healthy children experiment, test limits, and sometimes fail openly. When a child hides broken items, lies about minor errors, or panics over small setbacks, it often signals that the emotional cost of mistakes feels too high. Instead of seeing failure as part of growth, they begin to see it as a threat to connection. Fear replaces curiosity. Silence replaces honesty. This is not rebellion, it is protection. Another sign appears when a child rarely shares their real thoughts or feelings. Emotional withdrawal is often misunderstood as maturity or obedience. A quiet child who never talks back may seem well-behaved, but psychologists warn that extreme compliance can sometimes reflect emotional suppression. Children who feel safe express disagreement respectfully. Children who feel controlled often minimize themselves. They give short answers. They avoid eye contact. They say what they think adults want to hear. Over time, this pattern can weaken decision-making skills because the child has not practiced expressing independent thoughts. A third sign involves constant performance pressure. When love feels tied to grades, achievements, behavior, or comparison with others, children begin to equate worth with output. Research on self-esteem consistently shows that conditional approval creates fragile confidence. The child may achieve high results, yet feel empty or anxious internally. They might become perfectionistic, terrified of disappointing their parents. Strict environments often produce outward success but inward insecurity. The child learns that rest must be earned, joy must be justified, and mistakes must be hidden. Emotional reactions also reveal a great deal. When children overreact strongly to small corrections, it may indicate accumulated stress. Tears over minor feedback, extreme defensiveness, or sudden emotional shutdowns are sometimes signs that a child feels constantly evaluated. Neuroscience research shows that children raised under high criticism develop heightened stress responses. Their nervous system stays alert, scanning for disapproval. Instead of learning from guidance calmly, their brain shifts into protection mode. Learning decreases when fear increases. Another important sign is the absence of laughter and play in the parent-child relationship. Healthy authority does not eliminate warmth. Studies on attachment theory emphasize that secure bonds require both structure and affection. When interactions revolve mostly around correction, instruction, or discipline, emotional closeness weakens. If conversations feel like lectures more than connection, strictness may be overshadowing safety. Children thrive when they feel both guided and valued. A sixth sign appears during adolescence or early independence. Children raised in highly strict environments often respond in one of two extreme ways. Some become excessively dependent, struggling to make decisions without permission. Others swing towards secret rebellion, hiding behaviors, friendships, or choices. Psychologists explain that autonomy is a developmental need. When autonomy is restricted too tightly, it does not disappear. It resurfaces later, sometimes in risky ways. Balance in early years prevents extreme reactions later. The final sign is subtle but powerful. It is when a child measures their worth by avoiding punishment rather than pursuing growth. Instead of asking, "What can I learn?" they ask, "How do I avoid getting in trouble?" Motivation shifts from internal curiosity to external fear. Educational research consistently finds that intrinsic motivation builds long-term success, while fear-based motivation creates short-term compliance. Compliance may look like discipline, but it does not build self-leadership. It is important to understand that strictness itself is not harmful. Structure, boundaries, and expectations are necessary. Children need limits. They need guidance. They need adults who say no when safety is at risk. The issue arises when control replaces connection, when correction outweighs encouragement, and when obedience becomes more important than emotional understanding. Authoritative parenting, often recommended by experts, combines firmness with empathy. It allows rules but explains reasons. It enforces boundaries but listens to feelings. It corrects behavior without attacking identity. When parents shift from rigid control to balanced authority, subtle transformations begin. Children start admitting mistakes earlier. They ask more questions. They show initiative. Their confidence becomes quieter but stronger. Instead of acting good out of fear, they act responsibly out of understanding. Emotional security creates resilience. Research in developmental psychology repeatedly confirms that children who feel emotionally safe develop stronger problem-solving skills, better social relationships, and higher long-term self-esteem. Many strict parents were themselves raised in harsh environments. They may believe that toughness built their strength, and sometimes it did. But experts caution against confusing survival skills with emotional health. A child who learns to suppress fear may appear strong, but suppressed emotions do not disappear. They resurface later as anxiety, self-doubt, or relationship difficulties. Strength built through support is healthier than strength built through pressure. It is never too late to adjust. Children are remarkably responsive to even small changes in tone and approach. A softer explanation, a calmer correction, a moment of listening before judging. These shifts rebuild trust quickly. When parents acknowledge, "I may have been too hard sometimes," children feel seen. Accountability from a parent models emotional maturity. It teaches that authority does not mean perfection. It means responsibility. Experts often emphasize one core truth: children remember how they felt more than what was said. Years later, they may not recall specific rules, but they will remember whether home felt safe or tense, encouraging or intimidating. They will remember whether mistakes were treated as disasters or as lessons. They will remember whether love felt constant or conditional. If any of these signs feel familiar, it does not mean failure. It means awareness. Awareness is powerful. Strictness often grows from fear that the child will struggle, fail, or suffer. But control cannot eliminate struggle. It can only shape how a child faces it. A child who feels supported approaches difficulty with courage. A child who feels judged approaches difficulty with anxiety. Parenting experts consistently repeat that connection is the foundation of influence. When a child feels emotionally close to a parent, guidance becomes easier. Discipline feels fair. Boundaries feel protective rather than restrictive. Respect grows naturally instead of being forced. Authority built on fear weakens over time. Authority built on trust strengthens. In the end, the goal is not to raise a perfectly obedient child. The goal is to raise a confident adult who can think independently, manage emotions, and maintain healthy relationships. Overly strict environments may produce short-term order, but balanced guidance produces long-term strength. Every parent wants to protect their child from pain, but the greatest protection is not control. It is emotional security. When children know they are loved even when they fail, they dare to try again. When they know they are respected even when they disagree, they learn to speak confidently. When they know mistakes do not threaten connection, they grow without fear. One day, your child will face the world without you standing beside them. In that moment, they will not carry your rules in their hands. They will carry your voice in their mind. The question is simple and powerful. Will that voice sound harsh and critical, or calm and supportive? Will it say, "Don't mess up," or will it say, "You can handle this"? Discipline shapes behavior, but emotional safety shapes identity. And identity is what stays for life. If strictness has quietly replaced softness, there is still time. A gentler tone tonight, a listening ear tomorrow, a reminder that love does not need to be earned. Children do not need perfect parents. They need present ones. They need firm guidance wrapped in warmth. They need boundaries delivered with belief. Because when authority is balanced with empathy, children do not shrink under pressure. They rise with confidence. And years from now, when they speak to themselves in moments of doubt, they will not hear fear. They will hear strength. And that strength will sound like you.